Hello, welcome to IT Basics. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Task Manager. The Task Manager is a Windows utility that shows what your system is doing in real time by breaking it down to various tabs that include the process, performance, app history, startup apps, users, details, and services. You can open the Task Manager in many different ways. There are about 17 or more ways in which you can open the Task Manager. One way in which you can open the Task Manager, which is probably the easiest, is to simply search it on the search bar. If you write Task Manager, it should be the first option. Alternatively, you can right-click the taskbar and you will see the Task Manager there. Do not click the taskbar settings. You can also right-click the Start button, and here you will see many options, which is kind of handy and is one of the ways in which you can open the Task Manager. You can open this exact same menu by simply clicking the Windows and X button on your keyboard. Let's open the Task Manager now. Right away, you can see all of the different tabs that we discussed earlier. Let's go through each one to see what it looks like and give you a brief description of what each tab does. Beginning with the Processes tab, it shows all running applications, background processes, and Windows system processes. It displays real-time usage of CPU, memory, disk, network, and GPU. Used for identifying resource hogging apps, ending unresponsive programs, and diagnosing performance issues. The Performance tab provides real-time graphs and detailed information about CPU memory, disk, network, and GPU usage. It shows hardware details such as core count, clock speed, RAM capacity, SSD activity, link speed, and system uptime. It is used for monitoring system health, identifying bottlenecks, and verifying hardware functionality. There are many sub-tabs in this Performance tab that we will visit shortly. Jumping to the App History tab, it shows CPU time and network usage over time for Microsoft Store and Universal Windows Platform applications. It helps identify background apps that have been consuming resource consistently, less relevant for desktop applications, but useful for power management and tracking hidden app activity. The Startup Apps tab lists all applications that launch automatically when Windows starts. It shows each app's startup impact, whether it be high, medium, or low. It is used to speed up boot times and improve performance by disabling unnecessary startup programs. The Users tab displays resource usage per user account currently logged into the system. It shows each user's processes, CPU load, memory usage, and network activity, useful in shared or enterprise environments to identify which user sessions is consuming excessive resources. The Details tab shows all running processes with advanced information such as process ID or PID, CPU usage, memory footprint, status, and priority level. It allows you to set priority and tasks or analyze wait chains. It is used for deeper troubleshooting and controlling specific system processes or application threads. The Services tab lists all Windows services and their current status, whether running or stopped. It allows you to start, stop services, and open the full service console. It is used to diagnose issues with features like printing, Windows Update, audio, networking, and system components. We will now revisit each tab in more detail so that you can get a better feel for these descriptions. Beginning with the Processes tab, once again it shows real-time usage of the CPU, memory, disk, network, and GPU. Here in these headers, you can see those categories broken down. You can actually add or remove some of these headers by right-clicking any of these columns and selecting what information you want displayed. GPU was not selected on my version, so all I did was select it. As you can see, it is no longer shown, but if I go back and right click, I can add it again. Here we can see all of our programs, applications, processes that are currently running on the computer. You would be surprised how many processes are currently running at any given moment in your computer. All of this is most likely being done in background as displayed here on this header. The Task Manager does a nice job at grouping these processes so that they are easier to identify when analyzing what is currently using your CPU, memory, disk, etc. We can see that not that much of our CPU is being used, so there's no need to dwell too much on that. My memory is being used a lot, and if we scroll down, we can see that Google Chrome is currently demanding a lot of my memory. It would seem that ChatGPT is also doing some background processes, and that makes sense because I don't have ChatGPT open, but background processes are indeed happening and is contributing to how much of my memory is being used. We can do the same type of analysis for each of these headers, and the one that sticks out the most is my GPU. And if we scroll down, 70% or just about the entirety of the current usage of the GPU is being used by none other than OBS Studios. OBS is a recording application that many streamers use to record their gaming sessions or stream their content. In this specific case, I am recording this video that you are currently watching using OBS. And as you can see, this application is demanding a lot of my GPU. Analyzing this tab can give us information about what is currently happening on our PC. For instance, the CPU column, if the percentage is very high, it could be revealing slowdowns or apps stuck in loops. If there's a high percentage on memory, then we could have leaks or too many open applications. For the disk, if you are seeing 90 to 100% disk usage, this could be causing freezes, long load times, or system lag. For the network, it helps you identify apps consuming bandwidth or downloading updates in the background. For the GPU, it reveals which apps use your graphics card, such as playing games or recording videos. Before we leave the Processes tab, it is worth noting that Task Manager has different tools given to you for each of these tabs on the upper right corner. For the Processes tab, you can initiate a new task. If we click this button, it will open the Create New Task window. You can either browse for the executable of the tool, program, or application that you want to run, or you can alternatively type the execution or name of the file you would like to open. You can also end a task. So by selecting the task manager, if I hit end task, it will close that program. So there we selected the task manager and we ended task, and that effectively closed the task manager. We also have this other third option here that is efficiency mode. What this means is that the application or program will be optimized to consume less resources. As you can see, there's a little symbol here for the Google Chrome application. This means that efficiency mode was enabled for this application. If I hit OBS, you can see that the efficiency mode became lit up, which means I can use this feature on this application. Not all programs or processes will have this option available. It is worth noting that you could significantly impact the performance of any specific application or program or process that you choose to apply this feature. You also have these 3 buttons where you can change the display of these processes. So right now I have them grouped where it shows apps, background processes, etc. But I could choose to change the display feature. Jumping to the Performance tab, we have, similar to the previous Processes tab, categories where we can analyze our resources. If we analyze the CPU resource, here we have information about essentially your specs for your computer. You have some basic information about how much of your CPU is being used, which is similar to what we saw on the Processes tab. If we jump to memory, you will see similar information, specs, and how much is currently available, how much is currently being used, etc. It is how your memory is currently being utilized. The same thing for disk. What is going on when it comes to writing into your memory cards? I have several memory disks, so that's why you see different options here, such as disk 0, disk 1, all the way to disk 3. My Ethernet, I do not have an Ethernet connected to my PC, so there's nothing going on here. If I jump to my Wi-Fi module, you will see that there's some activity as I begin to utilize something. So if I open YouTube and I begin to play a bunch of videos, you will see that my Wi-Fi all of a sudden begins to spike and activity begins to happen. And then when I close them, it flattens out. Here in the GPU, we see that there is currently quite a bit of utilization. Again, specs, driver versions. There's 2 GPUs because my PC build has a dedicated graphics card, but your motherboard has a dedicated GPU as well. It is not intended to render Fortnite, for instance, but it can handle the basic render of Windows operating system. The app history tab, in my opinion, is not very useful, but it does show which applications and programs have been consuming your CPU and network over time. This is useful because if, for instance, my calculator or some program that claims to be a calculator, it's not shown here, but just pretend that there's a calculator application with a lot of time here, that it could be a suspicious program running, or that for some reason my calculator is running in the background and is therefore draining my battery quicker than it would otherwise would if it was just, not doing anything in the background. It can help me identify those types of applications, and I can decide to disable them or uninstall them, or just disable background activities for that specific application or process or program. Assuming that you can do that, because there's obviously some processes that you may not be able to do that, but for the most part, you should be able to. Jumping to the startup tab, this is actually my favorite tab because this is the first one I configure whenever I install new programs or when I first set up any PC. This is essentially, like we said, all the programs and applications that start up when you boot up your PC. You may not necessarily want, for instance, WhatsApp to turn on when you power on your system. And indeed, I have it disabled because I don't want WhatsApp to delay my boot up time. If you don't care about waiting for your computer to load when you first turn it on, then the startup apps tab in the task manager is not very important to you. But if you're like me and you're impatient and you want to start working on your computer as soon as it turns on, which is hopefully quick, then it may be worth tweaking with some of these programs and disabling a lot of these programs. As you can see, a lot of mine are disabled. I'm not sure why I haven't really disabled some of these, so I'll do that right now. But yeah, you can feel comfortable and do it. You may not want to disable Windows security because that's obviously very important, but each to their own judgment as what's important for them and what's not. But not overweighing the importance or significance of some of the applications will help your computer boot up much quicker. And it helps that this window here shows the startup impact. So on a lot of these, it may not be measured, but you can do some basic online searching and you can find how much of this is impacting your boot up time. Jumping to the users tab, it may not necessarily be the most useful tab if you're somebody like me where my PC is only for me. But if in your home you have a family and every single person in your family shares the same computer for schoolwork or their personal work, then this may be a useful tab for you, because then you can evaluate why your PC is running so slowly and taking forever to get certain things done and just not running smoothly as you would like. Maybe the user, your son, forgot to close his Minecraft game before he decided to log out, because when he gets out of school later that day, he wants to get home and log in and be able to continue where he left off. But he did not realize that you would be working on the computer that day and it is impacting the performance of your session because of your kid's decision. So the users tab may be useful for you because then you can see how much of the resources are being utilized per user. Jumping to the details tab, we can see that we have headers with PID, status, and others that are not important for this discussion, but the PID is useful because it helps match processes to system logs or command line tools. If you ever look at an activity log, you will see that most of the time an event will have a process ID, and that's why the PID is very helpful. The set priority is intended to allocate more CPU resource to any specific task. So if I really wanted to, I can right click any of these and I can set a priority to high or something like that. If I was running Fortnite or something, I could probably, or some important game, or even OBS Studios, I could be doing that because it is consuming a lot of my CPU or GPU or what have you, but mostly it's for the CPU. We also have analyze wait chain, which detects processes waiting on others, and it is useful for diagnosing freezes. So right here on analyze wait chain, let's say that I click it, it would tell me whether this specific process is waiting on a child process because that child may be using all of the resources and is preventing this one from executing or doing what it needs to do. The services tab has various headers and information that can be useful, such as running versus stopped status. It shows if a key services such as a print spooler or Windows update or an audio are active or not. The option to start, stop, or restart a process or service can help you fix issues like printing problems or audio failures or stuck updates. The open services opens the advanced services console for deeper troubleshooting. That's an overview of the task manager and what each of these tabs can help us achieve when evaluating the health of our system. There's a lot of information that is embedded into the task manager, and it is worth investigating and learning how to use this tool so that you can more efficiently and speedily identify the root cause of what could be causing issues on your system. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked this content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.